you hear me? Can you hear me, ma'am? No dilation, unresponsive, no indication of trauma.
She's not dying.
Yeah, about that. Hey everybody, and welcome to Phile Theory, my April Fool's Day opportunity to finally pay homage to one of my favourite channels here on YouTube, whilst also getting to moan about possibly the lowest point in my favourite TV show. I know, I've made my feelings about the X-Files revival abundantly clear in the past. What is this bullshit? I don't even know what the I just watched. No, I'm done. I'm tapping out. You, Chris Carter. You. Are you kidding me? But what if I told you 2018's final season never happened? That everything we saw was nothing more than the imaginings of a dying woman? Let me explain. To catch everybody up, at the end of the X-Files' 10th season, the episode My Struggle 2 follows skeptical FBI agent, medical doctor, and all-round bamf Dana Scully as she tries in 43 minutes to find a cure for the apocalyptic Spartan virus. There's a lot of questionably bad writing, the phrase alien DNA is uttered 17 times, and Agent Monica Reyes suffers an embarrassingly confounding character annihilation. What's important for this video though, is at some point during the proceedings, Scully's alien-chasing partner, best friend, baby daddy, and at this point ex-lover Fox Mulder has contracted the virus and is at death's door. In the episode's climax, Scully, perhaps remembering that vaccines and cures are not the same thing, and realising that he's past the point of saving, is stood next to Mulder when suddenly a bright light, presumably from a UFO, shines down on her. The music swells, the camera zooms in on actress Gillian Anderson's eye, and roll credits. It would take 2 years and a lot of fan speculation in the interim for this cliffhanger to finally be resolved in Season 11's premiere episode, aptly titled My Struggle 3. Except instead of Scully saving the day, or aliens taking over, or I don't know, literally anything remotely interesting happening, we're told that the entirety of the previous episode was just a premonition, a vision courtesy of Mulder and Scully's superpowered long-lost son, William. Scully is found unconscious in the X-Files division's basement office, having supposedly had some kind of seizure at the start of My Struggle 2. Once at the hospital, the doctors are puzzled, perturbed, disinterested. I don't know. They pretty much abandon and leave her unmonitored for the rest of the episode, so your guess is as good as mine. But they surmise that she has extremely abnormal brain activity. Her boss, Assistant Director Walter Skinner, who tagged along because it was a slow workday, I guess, queries what part of the brain he's pointing to is on Dana's scan, and Dr. J.A. replies,
The hypothalamus.
except that's not the hypothalamus. More worryingly, the doctor, who introduced herself as a neurologist, goes on to explain that the hypothalamus controls the fight or flight response. Now, it's been many decades since I last studied science, but even I knew before doing a 10-second Google search that it's the amygdala that controls that. And that's nowhere near where Skinner's pointing either. The doctor finishes by saying that neurologically speaking, Scully's brain is on fire, which ended up, after numerous unimportant steps, with me researching encephalitis, which in turn led me to see some crossover between the symptoms of that and a brain aneurysm. Aneurysms occur when blood passing through a weakened vessel in the brain causes it to balloon and, in worst case scenarios, rupture. Why is that important? The main symptom of a cerebral aneurysm is a sudden debilitating pain in the head. And what do we see Scully suffer with several times throughout the episode?
What is happening?
Loyal puppy Mulder can insist she's fine all he wants, but what if Scully is, in actuality, trapped in a coma or, more unsettlingly, dead. What if she had an aneurysm, either from natural causes or the force of William's suddenly appearing visions, and what we see over the course of the season is her slipping away? That may sound like the ramblings of somebody in denial, but there's a lot that's just off about My Struggle 3. For example, Mulder acts aggressive towards Skinner long before he has any reason to. Agents Einstein and Miller randomly appear in DC to transport Scully from a car accident back to the hospital, barely registering that they've ever met her at all, giving some credence to the fan theory that Season 10's much maligned penultimate episode, Babylon, was also a part of the apocalyptic vision. The episode even opens with the tagline, "I want to believe," morphing into "I want to lie." The inference being that it's talking about the cigarette smoking man, and yet he's probably the only one speaking any truth here. Semantics aside. Not convinced? Let's take a moment to consider some of the things that occur throughout the rest of the season.
Sure, fine, whatever.
William, who was given up for adoption 16 years earlier, becomes a major focus or reference in nearly every story. Despite going to a family in Wyoming, he now coincidentally lives only a few miles up the road from Mulder and Scully's pad, and has pretty much every ability Marvel or DC have ever put in print. Mulder and Scully rekindle their relationship quite fervently and even have a date night. Both 50-somethings now have insanely badass fighting skills, and Mulder in particular is constantly shown in a heroic light. Yeah, that's always been the case, but here it's to a ridiculously heightened godlike level. Both agents get to have their own kinds of encounters with William, and finally, the season ends with the baffling revelation that infertile 54-year-old Dana Scully is once again pregnant.
Your father.
Fan service? Or everything she would dream of if she were in a coma? Admittedly, not all brain aneurysms are life-threatening. And I guess the big question could be, why wouldn't an aneurysm, no matter how minor, show up on the CT and fMRI scans? But if the hospital scenes aren't real, doesn't it make more sense that after everything she's seen and experienced over the past 25 years, Scully's dying brain would conjure up a fantastical, paranormal scenario where there are Morse code signals visible on the scans instead of a banal explanation, especially on a series that has always been adverse to giving concrete answers for pretty much anything. After all that though, even if you just chalk it up to inconsistent or bad fan fiction inspired writing, and the holes in the theory mean you have no reason at all to look at things from a different angle, I have one last question for you. What about this man? For those who don't know, back in 2006, a website was created documenting the stories of thousands of people across the globe who claimed to see the same man in their dreams. After a lot of analysis and discussion, it was revealed that the whole thing had been a hoax by a guerrilla marketing firm. How is any of this important? Well, in a season that already deals with fake memories and how easily those can be spread, you can find a copy of this man's portrait in at least 6 of the 10 episodes. During the original airings, everybody involved with production kept drawing attention to it and insisting that its purpose would be revealed. Except it wasn't. Or was it? Was the picture there to make us question the reality of the episodes? To make things feel off-kilter? The fabricated testimonies on the This Man website explained that he was a benevolent entity guiding people through their dreams. Scully even says in the Darren Morgan penned The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat that she wants to remember how it all was. If this man is guiding her through an eternal dream and helping her find peace with everything, that's probably the kindest thing this show has ever done for her. But, you know, that's just my attempt at a theory. A Phile theory, because the truth is always out there.